as a child, you did not have your diagnosis yet, but you had a lot of the symptomology and characteristics of what we would know as autism. Can you tell us a little bit about what your experience was like as a child?
Yes. From birth, I was colicky, and so my father has stories of wheeling me along city streets at 3 a.m. so my mother could get a bit of rest, and getting stopped by police officers who thought that a man going 90 miles an hour with a pram was probably stealing something, and so they all got to know him and would wave him on when they saw him, because as soon as he stopped moving quickly and jostling me, I would scream again. I ate my dolls. I ate the blankets in my crib. I ate the vinyl piping off the chairs in our kitchen and off the seats in our car. Anything that was vaguely chewy, I was chewing. I rocked. I droned. I was verbal, but it was a little slower coming, and I did have pronunciation difficulties. But my mother was a teacher. My grandmother was a teacher, and I had an older sister who was a very capable drill sergeant, and so between those three things, I was pretty well equipped by the time I hit daycare and preschool and that kind of thing in terms of the information that I was going to be required to take in. But socially, I was not equipped, and I was, as many children in the autistic spectrum were, I was rather severely either bullied or shunned. And that was a pretty awful experience, being emotionally friable enough that you're just not welcome with your peers. And the cognitive variability was so frustrating. Other people seem to have good days and bad days, but when you're in the autistic spectrum, it's like you have just these few periods of time where everything comes in with clarity, and you can remember and you can integrate, and then you just kind of dip back into the fog again, and everything gets confused and hazy, and you can't interact and you can't grasp what's going on around you and how to participate. And that pretty well went on until I was about 11 years old. I had a really wonderful thing happen at age 11.
Which was?
Well, my parents had sent my siblings off to this summer camp before, and they had held me back because they were really concerned. They had kind of different rules and different privileges for the others that I did not have, because they just knew I wasn't coping well, although there was no talking about it. I didn't know until much later what was actually going on. But anyway, at age 11, they sent all of us off to this wilderness canoe tripping camp for a month.
Oh, nice.
And I was breathing fresh air. I was drinking clean water. I was eating what amounted to mostly plant foods. I was rocking back and forth all day in a canoe and singing, and nobody was getting mad at me, And there were so many pieces that came together at that camp. And my function just did this really gradual climb, and my emotions were smoothing out, and my thinking and memory were getting easier and easier, and it stopped. My body stopped having so much pain in it, and I actually realized that it didn't have to hurt to digest food. That was the first time that I realized that this wasn't a normal thing for everybody. I asked the girls in my cabin about it. Does your belly hurt when you eat? And they're like, what are you talking about? And I just thought, oh, okay, something else just to keep completely quiet about.